We're on day 22. Welcome back to Barrels and Bark. Thank you so much for tuning in. We are on our journey through 24 days of our whiskey blind advent calendar. We're on day 22. If you've been following along, my wife has poured a bunch of samples blind for me, put an answer key together, and my goal is to rate it and try to guess what's in this bottle. So hopefully you've stuck around. Join us in a couple days. We're going to be taking all these samples that we've tried, all what was remaining, and we've put them in a big bottle here, and we're going to try this out on the last day and give you our thoughts on kind of our ultimate blended whiskey. So stay tuned for that. Well, let's jump right into day 22. Here's the sample. It looks very dark. If you can tell on the camera, day 22 is very dark here, so I'm guessing this is either fairly old or it's been twice barreled or toasted. So let's go in here for a sample here and see. Definitely has like raisins, that kind of raisins fig smell with some sweetness. I'm getting almost like that vanilla frosting that kind of comes out of the jar and the cans, kind of the confectionery or fake frosting, if you want to say that. That kind of almond extract, vanilla smell mixed in with that kind of raisins. Interesting. Okay, definitely some sweetness. Not getting a whole lot of like brown sugar or kind of that bourbon-y, typical brown sugar caramel. Definitely more of that fig, raisins, vanilla sweetness off there. Some oak in there definitely comes through. Makes me think that this is an older bourbon, or maybe even like a toasted. Let's go in for a sip. At the front, right on the front of the palate is really creamy, sweet, soft, and then it kind of rolls into that, again, that raisin fig kind of jammy flavor, and then you get a lot of that bitter oak on the back end. The finish is interesting. I don't know if I like the finish. It has a fairly bitter, kind of oaky taste on the back end that kind of hangs on there for too long. Has fairly viscous, like it has a good mouthfeel on it. I love the palate, I love the mid. The finish is bitter. So let's go in for another sip. Right up front is just that vanilla frosting, sweetness, creamy. Then again, that raisins really comes through, like stewed raisins, fig, which is good. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. And then that end on there. I'm gonna put this one right at that 6.9. I think the finish on it is just kind of a little bit off-putting as far as the bitterness. But the rest of it's really good. So let's try to guess what this is. This is a tough one. I have a bunch of toasted. I'm not quite sure. I initially thought maybe the Nulu toasted, but I don't think the Nulu has a lot of that fig, if I remember right. I don't get that. I get more marshmallowy. Woodford is the other one that was kind of in there. I do have a store pick of the Woodford Reserve Double Oaked. That could be this. I'm going to say Nulu Toasted Barrel. Don't think it is that, just because of the darkness of it and the bitterness on it. I don't remember Nulu, but let's see how I did. Day 22. Same Old Moses. Oh, okay. Let's grab that bottle really quick and look. So here's that bottle. It is double barreled. Same Old Moses. It's a 4-grain straight bourbon whiskey, 111.8 proof. Okay, so it is finished in PK sherry cask. So that's probably where I get some of that fig tasting. You can just see how dark that is. So this is made by Wander Folk Spirits in Oklahoma. Interesting. Yeah, it's a good bottle. Like I said, the palate and the mid is really good. The finish would have to take some acquiring taste to it. I think it's probably some of that double barreling, the finishing there maybe adds to that bitterness. So there you go, day 22. We'll see you tomorrow.